Hey guys, EST here, and a little bit different of a video today because everybody knows when you're talking survival, you gotta talk knives. A lot of people say, assuming they could find water, the number one thing they would want if they were stranded out in the middle of nowhere was a knife because you can do all kinds of stuff with it. And I'd probably agree. I mean, maybe a fire starting tool, but that's a topic for a different video. I thought, well, I don't know that much about knives. Usually my knife knowledge is pretty much just knife safety, which, I mean, if you're gonna choose a starting point, let me highly recommend that one. But then I got to thinking, what's the nicest knife I own? Let's just like do a review. And then I came up with one that I guarantee you're not going to expect. So this right here, this Stiletto is my usual everyday carry one, just because it's kind of an intimidating weapon in case I wanted to scare somebody off without brandishing a gun. I don't know when that would ever happen. I'd pretty much just pepper spray him if the scenario came up. But I mean, this one, it's a little bit loose, just a hair. This can get a little messed up. You got to tighten it. These are awful. They basically need Loctite right out of the box. In fact, that's a replacement. So, not the best, but it's a okay blade. Holds its blade kind of okay, and I just use it for usually box opening, opening whatever, anything that needs cutting. So actually, I'll leave this one out because we're gonna do a comparison. And I haven't sharpened it recently, but honestly, just feeling it, that's pretty sharp. It's got a pretty darn good edge on it. But that is not the best knife that I own. Just like this isn't the best room for acoustics. Sorry about the bounce in here. All right, are you ready to see the greatest knife that I own by far? It is, believe it or not, the Yoshi Blade. Not sponsored or nothing. In fact, I doubt that even still exists because this knife right here is about 13 to 14 years old. I had trouble narrowing down when I bought this. I had to go by basically what house I was living in. But look at this thing. For an almost 15 and potentially 15-year-old knife, this is just crazy. I mean, it's just absolutely insane. So you might think, well, what the heck is that? It's not even metal. Well, it's zirconium oxide or dioxide or something. Probably oxide, I don't know. But it's in a crystalline lattice structure that makes it also heat tolerant. So I bought this because it was like on sale in the as seen on TV aisle. It was originally an infomercial item. So one of the few that actually worked out. And it actually didn't have very good reviews online necessarily because people are like, yeah, it's sharp, but oh, I keep breaking it. Oh, it broke within a month. Oh, whatever. And to illustrate the problem, here's a knockoff of it. I got this a while later. I just wanted a bigger one. You can see we got a chip in the blade right there and a big old chunk missing out of the blade here. So the problem with these is they're insanely fragile. So you might be thinking, okay, why would I possibly want this for a survival scenario? It's because I've gone 13 years without breaking it. There you go. So would I take this out into the woods and start chopping wood with it? Hell no. If you read the directions that come with the knife, which nobody did, obviously, because it's a knife, why would you possibly read the directions? But you should. Don't cut anything with a bone. Don't cut anything frozen. Don't cut anything just overly hard, basically. And if you follow those instructions, you'll have a knife that I literally have not sharpened ever. And just wait till you see this. It's going to be amazing. But just to stack it up against what you might buy today, because this is still about 8 years old, maybe 5 years old, 6 years old, I don't know, it's up there. We've got a brand new one, just came in the mail yesterday. This is what you can buy right now if you just go to eBay and type in zirconium knife or ceramic knife or whatever and find one that's this. So let me just say, this blade is not sharp at all. It is very blunt, and you can't sharpen it because it'll just crack apart. This is the thinnest part, it'll fracture. So it's somewhat sharp, but boy, compared to my, whoops, there we go, compared to the Yoshi Blade, I mean, this one, you can tell there's little micro serrations in there just because it's so old, but it'll outperform that one, I guarantee it. So if you can still find a Yoshi Blade, I'd say absolutely buy it, but I don't think they're still for retail sale. Might have to get it on the secondary market, as they say. But let's just do a little example here. Let's grab, I don't know, what do we got? Tomato, here we go. So Yoshi Blade, watch this. Right through it. Just absolutely almost no force. I think technically in the infomercial they did this. Let's see if this works. That was a mistake. I shouldn't have done that while it was open. It just flexed. Could probably throw a water balloon at this and it would just flex. But yeah, I mean, just look at this. It's just, once you break the surface, it's just easy slice right there. And it actually kind of damaged the plate a little bit. This thing is crazy. 13-year-old knife, never been sharpened. So I would say that would probably beat any steel knife in existence. I mean, even look at like top of the line, I guess what would that be? Maybe, boy, I do not know top of the line knives, but from ones I've used, Cutco and Mercer. Cutco's like $200 a knife. Mercer's like maybe 30, 40. That Mercer knife I had was impressive, but still, as good as it was, you'd still have to sharpen it once in a while. I think I sharpened it once ever, and then I'm pretty sure my roommate at the time stole it. So considering this is like less than half the price and you have to sharpen it never, and it's as sharp or sharper than that came from the factory, I mean, if I'm going to choose a survival knife as far as just cooking and nothing else, absolutely this. Yeah, they're fragile, they break, whatever, but if you get these ones, I mean, you can afford to buy a lot of these. This is about $7 or $8. I think it was like $8 or $9 free shipping, and it came with a vegetable peeler, which is always nice. That one, it's really hard to clean, though. I will say I don't love that one. Also, this texture is slippery as hell. I mean, this is about as cheap as you get. It weighs less. Let's see how it does. Have not tested this at all. Probably should wash it, though. By the way, you have to be really, really careful washing these. The first time I washed this, right through the washcloth and right through my skin. To say that these are sharp would be an understatement. I mean, I wish I could show just how sharp these are in the video, but I don't really have a way to demonstrate it as I wave a knife around like a crazy person. All right, let's see. Let's see how this one does. Oh, that, boy. It's smoother because there's little microscopic nicks in there just from me kind of misusing it and it being over 10 years old. But this one, you gotta put more weight on it, that's for sure. But then once it starts cutting, it's like, yeah, that's smooth. Okay. So, I mean, like I said, I'd lean towards the original. I think age is the one that's kind of causing that one to be a problem. And I do chop, frozen stuff with it. So, see how this Roma tastes. Why do I even grow Romas? They're so boring and bland. I never even make sauces. They're just really easy to grow. So let's check out my kind of mid-grade one. This one has got a bit of a blade on it. A lot of chips in it because it's cheaper, and I misuse this one because that's the expensive one. So it is an option to just use these for whatever anyway. When they break, they break. They're dirt cheap. So yeah, this is, I mean, that's nice for how old it is. This one's, the handle likes to get damaged by heat. It's some kind of, I don't know if you can see that, it's just weird. I don't know what's going on. Part of the handle's like wearing off or something. I think it got damaged by boiling water or something. So I'd say this one's number 1, this one's number 2, this one's number 3. So, I mean, that's where we're at these days, but also this one was expensive-ish, this one was kind of expensive, and that one was dirt cheap. So, there you go. So if you think I'm going to stop at a tomato, hell no, this is officially the Do Anything knife. And by the way, this one came in a set with one that was like a 3-inch knife and some other stuff. I can't actually find it at the moment, which is driving me nuts. But if you were to use a knife this big to chop up something this small and stupid, hey, go for it. So this is parsley. All right, let's just group this up here. Just remember, I'm not a chef, so no making fun of my herb cutting skills. I mean, look at that. Barely any weight. Just look at that, right through it. Right through it. First pass. I can't even name a steel knife that could do this. Oh, just got my fingernail in there a little bit, cut it. This is just so insanely sharp. I mean, look at that. Zero effort, just right across the plate. I might as well do a 1.5-year-old evergreen onion that I just picked. That smells good. Okay. Gotta get the right one here. I'm actually making burgers after this, so I guess it's going to be a Roma tomato parsley burger with onions. So, even real fine stuff where you want to get a good mince going. There we go. And unlike other knives, it doesn't leave that little connective part on the bottom. It really goes with just the littlest bit of weight. Like, not even close to enough weight to shatter it or break it. So, let's see how that stacks up with this right here. This the new one. Oh, I mean, it's smooth. I can tell it takes a little bit more weight, but it's so smooth. So, I mean, really, you almost can't go wrong with any zirconium knife. The funny thing is most people don't know there's zirconium, so they're just under ceramic, but there are ceramics worse than these. It's usually the color-coded ones. I don't know what those are made with. Probably not zirconium. I haven't tested them, and I've heard they're not as good. So, I'd go with these. From what I could tell, if they're white, they're zirconium. And this is really close to cubic zirconium. It's just like they added something or did something with a crystal lattice structure to make it not clear or something. So basically, it's like a 9 on the hardness scale, which, 10 is diamond. So these are very hard, very like chip resistant, but also brittle along, what do they call it, like fracture lines. So just for laughs, let's see how my stiletto is going to do against a tomato. Oh, look at that. Oh, man, you got a saw. I mean, it's just... if I just pushed out, it just smashes it. It's so bad. Let's see. Oh, this thing is terrible. And this is a fairly sharp knife. I mean, let me show it with something more normal for, like, day-to-day. All right, here's some cardboard. So I would just go and just right through it. There we go. A little bit of resistance, but okay. I mean, if I were to compare that to this, which is the first time I'm showing this, but China right on the bottom, in case you can't see that. Let's try and chop through this. So, you know, it's cardboard. It takes a little effort, but whatever. Easier with a heavier knife, bigger blade. But I would say this is the thickest, hardest thing you'd ever want to cut with zirconium. Also, don't cut cardboard with these. So let's go with the Yoshi Blade. Can't be a classic. Look at that. Right through it. Didn't even take any sawing. Just one simple action. Just right there. Oh, there we go. So no back and forth sawing motion. It's just, you know, a normal cut like you would do to a carrot. And that clean cut. I mean, look at that compared to the jagged disaster. The dragging. Oh, so bad. So let's see what this new one can do. I already know that one's pretty good because I've done it. Let's see. Oh, that's pretty impressive. Wow, okay. So like I said, it's not quite as sharp, but it's sharp enough. So if you wanted to cheap out and get one of these for like $6-7, go for it. I guess this is from Mr. Knife. I don't know. They all just stole each other's patents. It's Chinese anyway. So I kind of like this grip though because it's like hard, but it's kind of slippery. I don't know. You don't want to slip with a knife like this. You got to really. But I really don't like the silicone grips. They well, one, I'm allergic to silicone, and two, they wear out. I mean, this is just insane. Look at that. Holy cow. So when preppers think knives, they think, oh, survival, whatever, and then, oh, I could also gut a fish and prepare food with it. I mean, I guess, yeah, you might want to use a different knife. But when it comes to just permanent kitchen cutlery that you never have to worry about ever, and that basically costs under $10, you have to have one of these. Even if you're not, like, prepping for a, you know, ongoing survival, like, collapse level event, which is a lot less likely than, oh, look, a hurricane came, you know. I would say absolutely pick up a zirconium knife. As long as you treat it properly, and even if you don't, it'll probably be the last knife you ever buy, or at least this decade. So something that requires no maintenance, costs next to nothing, and you can use for cutting all kinds of stuff, but within reason because they're fragile. Yeah, I would recommend this highly, 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 highly. So a lot of people, when I talked about these, they didn't even know they existed, so I had to make a video on it showing off how amazing they are. So hopefully it sold you guys on it, and like I said, I'm not a spokesperson for anything. I'm not getting a commission. None of this is sponsored, and you can buy, honestly, any 3 of these. The original was the Yoshi Blade, if you can still find it, but that was on TV like 20 years ago, so good luck. And otherwise, hey, thanks for watching. Check out the rest of the videos on my channel, and I will see you guys next video.